Welcome back to the Dante's game playthrough. We're going back to standard Dante, which actually becomes original Dante at the end of the game, because once you beat the game, you get a white-haired version of the reboot Dante, with a slightly different haircut that is still kind of short and rather ugly looking, if I'm honest. But that becomes standard Dante, and the black-haired version becomes original Dante.
So we're playing as white hair, not classic Dante right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We're playing as black-haired version. The white-haired version doesn't actually come out. It doesn't actually, become available until you beat the game, because at the end of the game, Dante's hair turns white.
Okay.
Actually, in the middle of the boss battle, I think.
The transformation is complete.
Also, look at the mad combo potential of the shotgun. There's your answer. See, the load screen knows what we're talking about. Just a shotgun juggle right there.
It bears repeating. I think we should have been able to control Dante during the loading sequences like Bayonetta.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been nice. Still, demonstrations are helpful too.
Say the name.
Okay. So here we have an ominous, unnecessarily grainy video that Mundus has somehow sent to Virgil. I don't know. Probably Virgil has some online alias that he uses to propagate his messages, and Mundus sent it to him. Why do I keep calling him Mundus? Mundus! It's Mundus in this game.
You mean something to this girl. So I suspect this girl means something to you.
Oh. There must be some romantic attraction there. She has boobs, I guess. I really don't know how Mundus came to this conclusion, since there's been no real public interaction between these two that Mundus would have been able to see.
So Mundus is sending this to Virgil right now, right?
Yeah, specifically to the rebels. There's no
Okay.
real way. It's a message for Dante. But it's been sent to Virgil, or rather to the masked internet freak that leads the order. Also, this is really weird, seeing Virgil in day-off clothes.
What's with the surgical gloves?
Don't know, actually.
Was he a neat freak?
I'm not sure.
He's a germaphobe.
I'm trying to get a close look at them, but I can't. No. The camera work in this scene is weirdly shaky, to give the impression of someone with a camcorder watching the scene, I guess. Here we go. So instead of using Lilith or the unborn child to get at Mundus, Dante's thinking is that he can capture Lilith and the unborn child and use them as a bargaining chip to get Cat back. Virgil, on the other hand, is a total pragmatist and just goes straight for the advantage there. Of course, Dante is the older brother and the one who hasn't gone gray yet. How does that work?
No, that happens. My uncle is younger than my dad. Is my dad's younger brother, and his hair went like completely gray when he was in his mid-40s, and my dad's just turned 50, and he's only got a couple of gray hairs. So it happens. I don't know like why or how, but it does.
Also, I have to give Virgil props. He's using a keyboard with gloves on. How do you even do that?
Oh no, yeah, that's weird. Like, how do you type with surgical gloves on?
I imagine there's more tactile feedback than if you were wearing actual gloves, like winter gloves or something. But still, anyway,
You're typing with mittens.
This is probably Dante's most immature moment. Like, I'm so funny. I wrote "fuck" on a clipboard.
Thank you, Mr. Fuck You.
Would you like a drink?
Anyway,
What's
yeah,
your
we're
name,
back.
honey? It's you. Fuck you.
Anyway,
Fook you or fook me?
we're back at this nightclub, and Lilith is having a good time standing on a balcony that has no discernible exit, shaking her butt slightly in time with the music.
She has to pretend to give a fuck.
I assume she's being so pushy because Dante tips well.
Hey, how do you know my full name?
Why didn't I think this place was creepy the first time I came here?
Anyway, actually, the nightclub level is my favorite level in the game in terms of area structure. Because what happens is Lilith plays the entire mission like a game show.
Oh, it's kicking! Oh.
More like, punching?
Falcon punching.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of wub music, do we get oons music?
Yeah, somewhat.
No, it's like a disco.
Yeah, the music fits, which, you know, it's a bit more memorable than the rest of the game in terms of the soundtrack here. But at the same time, I don't really remember what any of the music in here sounds like. But you know what? Nightclub music. Maybe that's intentional.
Are we gonna have any light panels here? Puzzles?
Yes. You remember do you remember what the red enemies do, where they turn the entire floor red and you have to equip a demon weapon to avoid damage?
Yeah.
One of the gimmicks of the nightclub level is that in certain areas there are floors with lights that turn red and blue in patterns, and you have to have you have to have either the demon or the angel weapon equipped to survive on their respective floors without taking damage. It doesn't deal that much damage to you, but it's something to keep in mind while you're fighting.
It does build up.
Yeah. It's more of a threat than the enemies most of the time.
So wait, does the light panel get its own introduction like these demons do?
Also, I don't know how, but the witch transferred her shield over to another demon.
Oh, is that why she looks so pale?
Now, look, there was a regular whatever you call these things, not scarecrows, running around with a shield around it. It looked really out of place too.
Well, that probably would have been an interesting boss fight or concept. Like you got the witch like in an unreachable area, and then she emits force fields to random enemies.
Well, the force field itself is pretty easy to break, especially if you use Prop Shredder. I think it breaks based on the number of hits you deal to it, and Prop Shredder is a rapid-fire attack.
Ah.
So are we fighting Lilith in this chapter or the next one?
You know what? I just want to have Dante and Lilith have a pun-off. Let's see which one of them can come up with the worst puns. That was bad too. Not as bad, but pretty bad.
Oh man, how did you get on the VIP list?
At this point, the first time I played this mission, I thought we'd be stuck in another room like we were in the mission just before this. But fortunately, after this area, we start going through some pretty interesting sections.
Bitch tit Bob, what do they do to you?
The nightclub
It's
area...
bitch tip Robert now.
Come on. I really should figure out how to hit these things with that uppercut they shut off in that load screen. I have a
Well,
feeling...
too late now. The contract's already been done.
Yeah. I'm not sure when I'll pick up this game. I'll probably go back to it at some point, because it is fun to play. And
Well, the combat does look perfectly, like, you know, it looks like it plays perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I haven't played too many of these types of games, so I'm not really sure like what it offers from a gameplay perspective that something else doesn't. I think it's just, you know, whether or not you like the aesthetics is probably going to be the biggest factor in whether or not you're going to want to play this.
Well, not liking the character much has a lot to do with whether or not I want to play a given game. Like, I will suggest God of War to basically anyone because I liked the first God of War when I played through it, but I can't force myself to play the rest of the series because I just can't stand Kratos.
It really all depends on how fun the game is to me, because, as we said in the Last of Us commentary, I didn't really find Joel that appealing, but
Yeah.
I still enjoyed the game.
Anyway, this mission actually does the most with the limbo concept, I feel. And it's also very fresh, because we're not just running through a city area with the walls shouting all caps at us anymore. This is like something out of a Mario game, except, darker in color scheme, I suppose you could say.
Well, there's the sound wavy iTunes background thingamafucket in over.
It's like a Windows Media Player visualizer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we mentioned the virtual reality stages in Shadow the Hedgehog, and to some extent it reminds me of that, too.
Yeah, this definitely gives me... I forgot the names of those stages.
I can't remember the name of any stage in that game other than Westopoli.
Yeah.
Oh, we're standing on a YouTube play button.
It's the enemy buffering.
Oh,
The
great.
title card thing kind of reminded me of Persona 4, though.
Oh, great. The writer's strike. No, reality shows, stop.
Anyway, these are the colored floors. As you can see, some of them are red, some of them are blue. I'm using the gauntlets right now, which is why you can't see a giant axe on my back, but yeah. It's really easy when you're just in the platforming areas. The floors start to switch later on.
So you have to be holding a specific weapon in order to board them?
Yeah, just hold the correct shoulder button while you're on a given color of floor and you'll be fine.
Okay.
It does limit your options in combat when you're not in the air, though.
Oh, so if you try to use a demon weapon on the blue floor, you'll take damage, I'm guessing?
Even if you just leave yourself on Rebellion.
How do you know my penis size?
She might have been talking about something else, God. But yeah, we have damaged floors that are cycling through the floor beneath us.
Well, that's an interesting concept that changes up the gameplay a little bit at the very least.
Yeah, I really like the nightclub levels. There's one. Exactly one.
Well, I'm guessing that the other half of the boss fight's in its own mission, then. Which I guess counts a little bit, technically. I don't know.
The boss is its own mission. We're going to be here for a little while, though.
Say what people will about the overall quality of DmC, or what it does to characterization or plot. I get that, but aesthetically, I find this really appealing.
Mm.
Technically, I will say, everything graphically looks nice. The game seems to run at a pretty smooth frame rate. I know you said it was 30 instead of 60, but it hasn't dropped at all. So that's probably the most important thing.
Well, look, I'm not one of those people that despises a game's frame rate because it's not 60.
I don't really care either, as long as it doesn't chug.
There's a giant 30 on the bottom of on the floor as we talk about this.
You will love 30 frames per second. Yes, you. But the most important thing for me is that it doesn't chug. And the textures all look nice. Occasionally, there's color variety. It's just. I think that for me personally, the art style is a little bit bleak, too bleak for my tastes. But
I find this a step up, and pretty much, compared to the first game at the very least.
If this is bleak to you, you're going to love Devil May Cry 2.
Well, it's just I'm not a huge fan of the dark and edgy just to be dark and edgy sort of thing. That's just me.
Yeah, that's more to do with that's more a complaint I have with the story and characters than the actual level design and stuff, because Devil May Cry has never had any kind of bright, colorful color scheme. It's just been a matter of whether or not it's sticking to Gothic art stylings or doing something different. In some cases, something entirely boring like Tem and Negru in Devil May Cry 3, which I'm not terribly fond of, by the way. Another arena. In this area, the whole structure of going from arena to arena actually makes sense. It doesn't... It's underlined here because we're playing it like a game show of sorts, but at the same time, the other areas in the game do the exact same thing.
Well, I was gonna say it's being self-aware, but I don't know if this game can be self-aware, because it's like, you could argue that the entire thing is self-aware due to how, over the top the quote-unquote social commentary is, but, that's a different discussion.
Nah, I don't think it's being zany enough to be self-aware.
It doesn't really have that self-parody feel to it. And now imagine these fights as ads in YouTube videos, and then imagine if you had to hit the play button after every ad. Wouldn't that
No, don't give them ideas, Lewis. Stop.
We have neon green creepers now. I don't know why they keep throwing these things into missions. They were a one-off thing in Devil May Cry 1. Oh, here we go.
So is this character just here to spout really lame double entendres?
She's here to be a controversial abortion statement. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I don't like Lilith much. She's one of the most unnecessary things in the game, but...
How do you switch between... I saw you went from the scythe to the other angel weapon real quick. How do you switch between the two the different angel and demon weapons? Do you use the D-pad?
You use the D-pad. There are only
Okay.
2 demon weapons and 2 angel weapons. There are 3 guns, though, so switching guns in the middle of a fight can be a bit awkward. But if you hit the corresponding D-pad button, you will switch to whichever angel or demon weapon you are not currently using.
Okay, that seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. It's not as intensive as switching styles as Dante and Devil May Cry 4, where you used all 4 D-pad buttons to select a style, and if you wanted to get the Darkslayer style, you'd have to hit any of the 4 D-pad buttons twice. Light paths, wonderful. I like the look. I like the look of this particular area. It's kind of Tron-ish, but these little fights with a couple mooks every platform just don't really...
That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking of Space Paranoids from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, now that I
Wait,
think about
Space
it,
what from Kingdom Hearts? What Disney
The-
movie is that level from?
It's the
It's
Tron,
Tron.
level.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a Tron level in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yeah.
It's actually not even a world. It's a computer in Hollow Bastion.
So it might as well be an old world.
It might as well be, but
Okay.
it's kind of like like Timeless River, where it's a world within a world.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. He doesn't. He wants you dead. And I just love giving him what he wants. You know, Dante, it's a funny thing.
Everyone wants a little slice of you. I see what you did there. It's not funny. This is why I want her and Dante to have a pun off. God
Yeah,
damn,
he's
this
back.
thing. Yep. He's like the damn harpies where he constantly blocks your grapple. But then he also does that.
An enemy that has an answer to everything.
Yeah. It's just a matter of whether he decides to use it at a given time or not. He's not terribly hard once you get it down. It's just he's one of those enemies that's flat out resistant to combos, because he'll parry you and send your attack right back at you. Sometimes he even does it to your projectiles.
So is this sort of like a game of rock, paper, scissors?
I don't think so. It's more like do something and hope it works, and be prepared to get out of the way if it doesn't.
Just like rock, paper, scissors.
Well, I've never seen anyone dodge in a game of rock, paper, scissors.
You obviously have not been playing with enough 6-year-olds. Oh no, that wasn't rock. That was just a crumpled up piece of paper. Yeah, totally. I'm not cheating. No. What do you?
Does
what are you talking
gun
about?
count?
No, gun does not count, you asshole.
What about stick of dynamite?
Sorry, Lewis, you need 70
I've
power
got 2
stars.
sticks of dynamite right here for you, Ryan. They're my middle fingers.
Do you have 70 power stars, Lewis? Well, apparently you do.
No, he did the speedrunning glitch.
He did jump backwards.
Totally secret door. Too bad I don't have any Argent keys. I didn't even know Argent was a word until this game.
No, the only reason I know it means silver is because I believe when I took French class, that was the word for silver. It's Latin based. I'm guessing.
Tell you took a class for everything.
Why didn't they just call them silver keys?
Like taking a French class is that odd? Like it's a foreign language requirement.
I took French.
I took Spanish.
I thought you said you didn't know Spanish.
No, I did like 2 or 3 Spanish classes in high school, and then there was a Spanish class in college. I think it was. I don't know. It was nearly. Oh God, that was nearly 10 years ago.
I like this particular branching pathway. It's 2 different hard light paths that go in 2 different directions to lead you to exactly identical long hallways. Anyway, this is the final arena. You'll show up here no matter what path you take. I don't know if there's any difference in what enemies you get. That just weirds me out. I'm sorry.
So wait, is she like visibly pregnant now, or?
No, the baby is Falcon punching inside her womb, I guess. Yeah, we addressed this before.
Okay, it's kind of hard. It was a little bit hard to tell considering the camera angle there. Ghost Rage, oh no!
Oh!
This is the blue-colored rage that you can only hit with the angel weapon. Fortunately, Aquila has a charge-up projectile attack that rapid-fires damage and just sort of hovers on the enemy.
So, not really a threat.
Not really a threat, but I'm hitting this guy a hell of a lot of times, and he's not dead yet. Because, as I said, the angel weapons have the damage output of a gnat. And now we have Blood Rage, which is the opposite color. I lost my
My immersion's ruined, Lewis. God.
Wires, stop fucking up.
Or is that Lilith fucking with you?
So Mundus has diabolical traps now, too.
Please set the controller to radio frequency 2.
Maybe it's one of those old Atari games where you have to plug the controller into input 2. Oh, man.
Where's the guy? It flicked the proper dip switch.
Now we need
this
to
is
fight
why
them
I didn't
both.
like the Wave Bird. It never, like, for some reason, like, I always got interference trying to use that thing.
Really?
Yeah, I like, one thing that would happen for me when I used the Wave Bird is in Super Mario Sunshine, when you press the R button, you use Flood, it wouldn't ever, like, the stream would never go all the way because, like, it wouldn't send the signal right from the R button for some reason, like, because of how analog it is. And it was just weird. Like, I never liked using the Wave Bird. I'd always prefer just the wired controller.
You poor thing. Oh, this probably just got a default defective controller.
I love doing that. Hit a Blood Rage with the with a charge up projectile with Aquila. Switch to the scythe and then use Prop Shredder to just hover them in the air. Saw blade them while you're saw blading them. Saw bladeception. You might notice I was doing a certain something with my camera. I think this is the only time, one of the only times I consciously do this. But if you keep enemies off camera, they won't be able to attack you as efficiently, which makes fighting 2 rages at a time a hell of a lot easier. Triple S style, triple S time, and it's going to be my completion rating that stops me from getting a triple S, isn't it?
Yep.
Sigh. Oh well.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. Maybe.